Hello friends, yesterday when we read, Ralph was trying to hide the watch in the sleeping bag. Ralph trembled to see the great snout coming close. He crept away from the watch and stared fascinated as Sam delicately picked up the leather strap in his teeth and trotted over to Karen's sleeping bag, where he dropped the watch on the flannel lining. Ralph crept closer. "Thank you, Sam," he said, genuinely grateful to the big dog. "It was all in the line of duty," said Sam. "Still, one thing bothers me. Boys don't come into the girls' area. But couldn't a boy throw a watch over here?" "A boy could stand on the other side of the fence and toss a watch onto a sleeping bag. I'm not sure Garf's name will be cleared when Karen finds the watch." "I never thought of that," admitted Ralph. "But give me a little time and I can take care of it." He scurried over to the watch and began to gnaw a hole in the fabric of the sleeping bag. Garf might be able to throw a watch, but he couldn't gnaw a hole. Sam settled himself with his nose on his paws to guard Ralph. Ralph used his sharp teeth so efficiently that he soon had a hole in the dry and tasteless lining. He waded into the dacron stuffing, dragging the watch behind him. "You all right in there?" asked Sam. "Course I'm all right," answered Ralph, shoving the dacron aside to make room for the watch. The dacron was softer than the most finely shredded Kleenex. It was softer than nylon stockings or pillow feathers or any other soft thing Ralph had experienced at the inn. "Then I'd better be on my way," said Sam. "I'll still have the barn to inspect." Ralph popped his head out of the hole in the sleeping bag. "Thanks a lot, Sam," he said. "You saved my life. I really mean it." The watch band still protruded from the hole, so Ralph crawled back inside and tugged some more until he was sure it was safely out of sight. There. When Karen climbed into her sleeping bag that night, she was sure to feel a lump, investigate, and discover her missing watch in a place where Garf could not have hidden it. The dacron was deliciously soft, and Ralph was tired after a sleepless night. "I've got to get out of here before rest time," he told himself. But part of him answered, "Go on, take a short nap, only a minute or two. Rest time is a long way off, and you need some sleep." The dacron was soft and cozy. The sounds of the camp were muffled, and Ralph was tired. The next thing Ralph knew, the sleeping bag was moving. He heard the swishing sound of a long zipper being closed and felt himself being lifted. Then a screen door slammed, the sleeping bag was set down, and a pair of hands smoothed it. "Drat," thought Ralph. "Now I've done it." He heard the muffled sound of boots being thrown on the floor. The cot beneath him heaved, and a sudden weight seemed to flatten Ralph, even though he was cushioned by dacron. Ralph could not help himself. He squeaked. The weight pressing on him was removed instantly. The springs bounced, 2 feet hit the floor, and Ralph heard Karen's muffled voice say, "That's funny. I'm sure I heard a squeak." "It's your springs, silly," said another girl. "No," said Karen, "it was more like a mouse, and it was right under me." "Quiet, girls, it's rest time," said the counselor. "I better get out of here," thought Ralph, crawling out of his dacron nest and in between the 2 layers of flannel lining. As he started toward what he hoped was the open end, he heard the swishing sound of the zipper. The top of the sleeping bag was thrown back, and Ralph was exposed for all to see. "Eek!" squealed Karen. "It's a mouse, and he isn't even squashed." Ralph leapt to the floor and was aware of a double row of girls staring at him from their bunks. He darted toward an overturned riding boot, realized that he would be trapped inside, and darted the other way without knowing where he was going. Now all the girls were squealing. "Catch him! Don't let him get away!" "Isn't he darling?" "He isn't darling in my sleeping bag," said Karen. Sock-clad feet hit the floor. "Get a wash basin," someone yelled. "Catch him under a wash basin." "Girls!" cried the counselor. Ralph darted this way and that. No matter which way he ran, he met feet. He was frantic. He knew he had to find a place to escape before someone clapped something over him. The screen door creaked, so he knew someone had run outside for a basin. "A hat!" someone shouted. "Where's a hat?" In his panic, Ralph ran up and over a foot in a white sock. Its owner screamed. Sam, alerted by the scream, began to bark. A straw cowboy hat plopped down on the concrete floor, making a dark dome over Ralph. The daylight that shone between the straws seemed like starlight to a mouse. "Look!" shrieked Karen. "A hole in my sleeping bag! He chewed a big hole right in my sleeping bag!" Sam, frantic to protect the girls, scrabbled his paws against the screen door. "It's only me," squeaked Ralph, but no one could hear him. Ralph was alert, waiting for someone to lift the hat so that he could make a dash, if not for a knothole, at least for the shelter of a bunk. "There's something in the hole in my sleeping bag," cried Karen. "My watch! Look, it's my missing watch!" Feet went paddling to Karen's bunk. The screen door opened. One set of dog footsteps and 2 sets of human footsteps entered, those of the girl who had gone for the wash basin and those of someone else. "Girls, what is going on in here?" asked Aunt Jill. "This is supposed to be rest time." Ralph could hear Sam snuffling around in circles with his nose to the floor. The girls all tried to speak at once, but Karen managed to tell about the finding of the watch. "So Garth couldn't have taken it," said another girl. "And we have the mouse in person right here under the hat," said another. Sam's nose came to a halt at the hat brim. "Hey, Sam, it's only me," squeaked Ralph in alarm. He was relieved to have Sam sit and begin to pant. Ralph pressed his eye to a crack in the straw and saw Sam's long pink tongue hanging out. "But what I don't understand," said Karen, "is how the watch got inside the hole. A mouse couldn't put it there." "You'll never know," thought Ralph in grim amusement. "Aunt Jill, what shall we do with the mouse?" Ralph heard one of the girls ask. "We're going to scoop him up in this wash basin." It's a really long chapter, so I'm going to stop right here and we'll find out tomorrow what happens to Ralph.